Hi, I'm Padgett, the founder of Redefining Sobriety. And this month, it's February as I'm recording this, and this month we're doing a series of videos focusing all on self-love and what that really means and how do you go about doing it. And if you haven't checked it out yet, I posted a video with some emotional freedom techniques, specifically addressing resistance around self-love. So if you find yourself even completely resistant to the topic or being open to what self-love could be, that would be a great place for you to start, so make sure to check it out. And today I wanted to talk a little bit about why self-love is something that we need for our survival. And I often talk about with my clients about the importance of loving yourself like your life depends on it, and it does. And you know, when you think about it, as children, well, as infants, we come into this world expecting to be loved. We expect to be taken care of. We expect to have our needs met. We don't question whether or not we're deserving. We don't even think about it. It's just an expectation that we will receive a certain amount of love and care. And then as we grow up, we start to learn that love is conditional, that it depends on how we look or how we act or how we behave or what we accomplish or how well we perform. And that carries on into adulthood. And so we get to this place in our lives now where we don't believe we're inherently lovable. We don't believe that we just deserve to be loved just because of who we are. We think that we have to achieve something or prove something or be a certain kind of way in order to receive love. And so when I talk about self-love and loving yourself like your life depends on it, it's really this return to love. It's this going back to when we were infants or when we were children, and our biological imperative, our survival needs, and to really look at ourselves that way, as if we are just as deserving and it is just as important for us to receive that love and care than as if we were, as adults, than if we were children. And so how do we go about doing that? How do we go about giving ourselves that love and that care? Well, again, just as we learn as we grow up that love is conditional, we also learn a lot of different survival strategies and or ways to get love. And we learn that we have to show up a certain way, perform, act a certain way, achieve a certain amount of things. We also learn different coping skills. We learn perfectionism, or we learn to drink. We learn to, sometimes behave in certain ways that aren't actually really aligned with our sort of best and healthiest selves, but they are what then proves to us, and there's neural pathways that are formed where we think, oh, if I do this, then I get attention. If I do this, then I get love. If I do this, then so-and-so won't leave me. And so we start to think that those are the things that really mean love or mean being loved. So one of the most important things that you can do when we talk about loving yourself like your life depends on it and this return to love is to imagine yourself as a child. And I know that that can be hard for some people. So if you can't imagine yourself as a child, imagine a child that you know. Maybe it's a friend's child or a niece or a nephew or some child that you can visualize. And imagine that child, you can close your eyes and really imagine that child. Again, it could be another child, it could be you, being really sad, being really upset, coming to you, and they're crying and they're in tears and they're saying to you, so-and-so doesn't like me, or I just feel really, really sad, or I don't know, they're confused, or they're feeling lonely, or they're feeling like they're not deserving. And imagine what you would say or do for this child. Would you tell them to pour themselves a drink? Would you tell them to go out and be distracted, or that they just need to do a better job, that they probably weren't trying hard enough, that they probably, didn't make themselves likable enough? Would you tell them, to go out and party or to lose themselves in their work? Probably not. If we're talking about a 4 or 5-year-old child, what would you do? You would probably hug them. You would say, of course you deserve love, or of course it's gonna be okay, or of course, you shouldn't feel sad, or if you feel sad, here's how to comfort yourself, and here, let me hold you until you feel better. You would really nurture this child. You would try to show them their inherent value and that they really were lovable. And, and you would just pour this love into them, right, to help fill them up. Well, this is what we need to do for ourselves, because again, we've learned all of these different coping mechanisms, all these different strategies, and And so we start to think that those are the ways that we show ourselves love, through the attention we get from other people, through self-medicating, through throwing ourselves into our work or validation or perfectionism, when really often we need that hug. We need that internal hug. We need to be told we're doing a good job. We need to fill ourselves up. And often that's the most important piece, right? Is to fill ourselves up, to learn to give ourselves that same kind of love, unconditional love and care and support that you would pour into a child who was feeling sad or undeserving. You need to start doing that with yourself. So when I talk about loving yourself like your life depends on it, that's really, really what it's about. And I'm going to keep sharing different practices, how you can really connect with yourself, how you can do a daily practice. The tapping is a really great self-love practice, also journaling, and I have a workbook that I'm sharing as well, with some different exercises and journaling practices that you can do to really connect with nurturing and loving yourself. So you can also download that PDF. The link is in the description for this video. And if you have any questions at all, please let me know. I know this topic can be a little bit elusive. I hope that really picturing a child and really connecting with that, again, that concept of returning to love resonates with you today. And again, like I said, if you have any questions at all, please do let me know.